Welcome back to Scoop's Latest, where in every episode we cover different topics involving the guest that comes on each episode. I'm your host, Kate Ryan, and today I'm here with.
Merran Decker. Hello. Thank you for
Hello.
having me.
As you can tell, she's super excited to be here, and as she should be. We're going to get right into it today. So, my first question for you, Marin, is how has photography helped you find a way to express yourself?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Well, first off, before I start, just wanted to thank you so much for having me on your show on Scoops. I'm really excited to be talking about photography and my artistic endeavors today. So I'm really excited. So, can you repeat the question one more time?
No, of course, and no worries, that does happen, and you are all good. My question for you is, how has photography helped you find a way to express yourself?
So, what is really special about photography that's a little bit different than, let's just say, visual media, art, design? Photography is different in that no two people see the world in the same way. So, I remember when I took a photography class with Benita Van Winkle, she had us all line up and take a picture of the exact same thing. And she said, even if I were to give you all the same camera, taking a picture of the same subject, no two people would have the same photo. And I think that's super interesting because every single person has such a unique way that they perceive the world, and photography allows that individual expression to be shown through a camera lens. It's very neat. So anyway, that's
Yeah,
something I think is cool about that.
why don't you show the audience your cameras that you have currently
Yeah.
with you?
Of course. So I brought two cameras today. So this one is my main camera that I use. It's my Canon EOS Rebel SL3. It was actually my mom's, and she gave it to me before I started doing photography more seriously and taking commissions. But I absolutely love this one. She's really fun. It's just kind of a standard DSLR camera, nothing too fancy. And then this one is my Polaroid Instax Mini. It's just my little Polaroid. I love to take them for just different fun things that I'm doing, especially if I'm working on like a student film set. I'll definitely have this for behind the scenes and all sorts of fun things. We'll need to take some today.
Yeah, I feel like a picture, it can capture so much about how a person's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different perspectives, so many different point of views, so many different ways that you can snap a picture.
Yeah.
You look at anyone's social media too. I mean, that's not even well, some of them I guess could be professional photography, but that's just all the ways that someone expresses who they are, and that's also a part of society that, I mean, some people feel as though social media is a bad thing, but it also is a good thing because you're there and you're like, oh, this person trying to express themselves in whatever way, whether it's a solo picture, whether it's a group shot, whether it's a video, or even a highlight reel. Someone's playing a sport or someone's singing a song and they're like jamming on their guitar. It's really just a way to express yourself. There's so much that can be captured with a camera.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of course, controversy that comes with social media and manipulating photos to have people portraying unrealistic images. But what I think social media does that's so amazing is that it allows creatives, artists to show their work to a wider audience that wouldn't have normally connected with their niche otherwise. And that's what I think is really special about it. That obviously, like, no two people are going to see the world the same way, and photography is such a creative medium of expression where you can show your unique point of view. And it's like, if you don't put your work out there, you'll never know if there's an untapped niche that's going to love your work that you just had no clue about.
For sure. And everyone
Yeah.
has different tastes when it comes to everything.
Oh, of course.
So
Yeah.
a hobby or a way to express yourself is so important. And when it comes to that, finding that's another reason why just having a that way to express yourself, it really does just help you with whatever you're feeling or whatever emotion is going on. I mean, I know for me, that's why I love going to museums so much, because I see other people's perspectives in everything, whether it's a picture like photography, whether it's a statue, whether it's a drawing. There's so many different ways to express yourself, whether it's through writing. And it's just super important
Mm-hmm.
to have something that helps you do that.
Yeah. Art it's such a powerful thing. And my journey with like creative expression, it didn't actually start with photography. So my first type of art that I did was just honestly drawing, like studio type stuff. I mean, honestly, in elementary school, when everybody does finger painting and like drawing and all sorts of stuff like that, a lot of people would maybe dread art class and be like, oh, I don't.
No, you are good.
Oh
That
gosh.
happens. No worries.
I'm making all sorts of weird noises
No
back here.
worries.
Womp womp.
Womp womp is correct. I just failed miserably at that edit out. Okay.
We'll just need to have a take that's just the bloopers at this point.
No, literally, I might have to. Okay. When did you start photography and why?
So, although I did not start photography until a couple of years ago, like 2023, I actually come from a family that really loves photography. So, one of my favorite memories growing up is my family would go to my grandparents' house in Missouri. They're on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And after we'd have dinner with my grandparents, my grandpa would get out his old laptop and be like, okay, kids, who wants to see the slides? And it'd be his old photos from all of the random things that he's seen, places that he's been. So that was always just a part of my life growing up, seeing the photos that my grandpa took. My mom had cameras. She didn't use them that much, but she always just kind of had cameras around. And I have an uncle that did part of his undergrad degree in photography. So it's always been something that's surrounded my life, but it wasn't until like 2023 when I started collaborating with some student filmmakers on campus that I really fell in love with how photography can help tell a story. So I'll never forget that first day. I was on set of my good friend Ben Frondorf's film. We were in a warehouse. It was cold, the middle of nowhere, and I was doing some acting work, some graphic design work, but just there was a lot of downtime on set. And I realized, you have some really cool people in a cool place that don't mind being on camera, wearing some interesting things. So might as well take some pictures. So what I did is I had my phone and a tiny little digital camera, and I just took pictures of everything, literally everything I saw. There was even one picture that someone ended up taking of me sitting inside of a bag. Like I fit inside a bag. It was kind of funny.
Huh. Very interesting.
Yeah, but and anyway, I'm getting off topic, but it was like student films is when I really started falling in love with how photography can help tell a story.
No, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
I think that's something too that we always see is you were talking about the weird different outfits is that is such a way that people use photography to express themselves as well is because they want to show off what outfit they're wearing or they're like, oh, like I'm feeling like a fashionista
Yeah.
today. I know I feel that way sometimes.
Oh yeah, and editorial photography is so fun too. That's where it's mostly just focused on fashion and merchandising and outfits, and it's very neat. And it's a different type of photography entirely. But I'm so lucky that I've gotten to work with J Fashion Film this year, doing lots of beautiful editorial photos, and then also with Style on Point on campus. They've taken me on their team to do some writing and photography. So just working with both of those editorial organizations, I've just really kind of enjoyed doing that.
And kind of found your passion
Yeah.
for it again.
Yeah.
So photography for you has been more of a passed down thing because your family has enjoyed it and that's how they express themselves. I feel like that sometimes kind of is a way that people can find a type of passion that they have. I know for me, my dad's a dentist and I started dental assisting for him my junior year of high school. I only did it for about a year, but I am going to go back to doing it like just every other Saturday, like just for fun to spend some time with him. And even though that's not the profession that I'm going to end up getting into, I know that that has also helped me because I still have a love for it. It still holds a place in my heart, even though it's not the profession that I will end up going into. But family really does play a role and impact even the type of passions that you have and the type of influence and things that you're willing to explore, I would say.
Yeah, I think family is a great place to start when looking for just different passions and hobbies and interests. But also, I would caution people from feeling like they only have to do something just because their family did it,
Mhm.
and that they feel like they have to be boxed in and only do this one thing because this is what a family member may be pushing them to do. I'm going to be the first person who's like, experiment, try different things,
Oh, definitely.
fail at things. And you're probably going to suck at first. Like, I know I sucked at photography at first. It wasn't until, like, after I took Benita's photography class that I really started feeling like, okay, actually, this photo doesn't suck.
That's kind of how I felt too, even with the filming, with all of this stuff. I've always felt as though I was a decent public speaker. I mean, not to give narcissism energy, but
You're
I
an
just,
excellent public speaker. You're doing amazing.
I just have always felt like I've been pretty good at that part, but I was never good at the camera aspect. Not until really this year, until I started my podcast and I had one of my buddies help me, because it just was not something that I knew how to do. It was confusing. It was very confusing because I would be like, how does this work? What are these buttons? Why are there so many? What does this mean?
What did they do?
I'm standing there looking at the camera and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, am I in the wrong major? And I'm and
Yep.
I mean, now that I, think about it now as I've become a junior from freshman year to now, I mean, no, I'm not in the wrong major. Am I going to end up being a journalist? I don't think that's the profession I'm getting into. I think I'm going to end up going into sales, but journalism has helped carry my passion for trying to become a professional communicator. And that's also what we're doing here on my podcast. So
That's
yeah.
that's excellent. Yeah, like public speaking and communicating, it's gonna come in so handy no matter what profession you end up going to. Um, like I can't think of one job where you don't interact with a team at some point, where you're not communicating in some respect, whether it be to team members or a supervisor or a manager or just an external group. Like
Yeah,
communication, it's important.
it's
Something to know
definitely
how to do.
key for sure. It's key in whatever job you go into.
Mhm.
Unless you're like a professional tennis player. Actually, no, you're still going to be communicating with
Yeah.
people. I'm like, even though it's a single sport and that's what you do for your job, you still have the off the camera, or like, off the camera, behind the scenes work that you have to do.
They'd
Where
be
you're
communicating with the tennis racket,
exactly
putting the ball
you
back
did
and
not
forth.
lie.
Yeah.
I see no lies told with that statement. So it really is. It's a huge part of life, learning how to communicate. And you don't have to be super extroverted to learn how to communicate either. Learning how to express yourself and still being able to speak up when needed, and learn the proper ways to communicate with people, because there's different vibes that everybody gives off. Like, I'm not going to walk into a business meeting and be like, sup, fucker. But with my brother, with both of my brothers, that is how I speak to them. Like, I will call them on the phone and be like, sup, fucker. And that's the first thing that I say to them.
You know she's standing on business when she's saying that.
That's just not what I'm gonna do. There's just different, it's knowing the right time of when to say things or how to speak to people, when it's professional and when it's casual.
Yeah. And I think that distinction is also a little bit more tricky for women sometimes, for us, because there is often this societal thing where it's like women feel like we're scared to speak up.
No, definitely, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, we're afraid to be assertive, or we're going to be seen as bossy, or we're afraid to defend our idea, or we're going to be seen as bitchy. So there's that double standard that comes into play. But
No,
I
there
think,
definitely is.
yeah, but for women, I mean, assertiveness is so important. It's like, no matter what you do, someone's not going to think you're doing it right. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely oh my god, I just blanked on the word. What you just said, double standards. That's the word.
The double standards.
There's definitely double standards when it comes to both genders. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't. But no, definitely, for sure. I think with women, especially, it can be scary to speak up sometimes, especially, like, not that all men will hurt you. Definitely not. There's amazing men out there, and I'm not saying that they're, but having that physical difference as well can oftentimes be scary, especially when it comes to speaking up to a man. And I think it's something that society has become more aware of it. I mean, there's definitely things that men feel like they're scared to do as well. Everyone has their things that they're scared of, I'm not saying that there isn't, but that's also, it's an important thing to know when to speak up, but also to be
Yes.
safe about it, because if you don't know the person, de-escalating and getting away from a situation can also be a super important thing to learn as a man and as a woman. But it
Definitely.
also
Yeah.
oftentimes can be scary to speak up to a man that you do not know, when you know that if he wanted to, he could potentially cause harm as well.
Yeah.
So that's also something that needs to be, learning to speak your mind at the proper time, and just having that as well is
Yeah.
super important. But how do you feel about the relationship between technology and photography, especially with advancements like smartphone and AI editing?
Oh, okay. So with AI, I have a complicated relationship with AI.
Yeah, fuck AI. Sorry. My
Such a
mom's gonna watch
complicated
this later and be
relationship.
like, I'm going to murder you. She's gonna be like, stop cursing on your podcast. Sorry.
Here I go, going into Scoop's latest. Yes, it's going to be such a fun, wholesome family episode. And here we are going on feminist
My
tangents.
bad,
and
my
saying
bad.
curse words.
My bad.
It's okay. It's my bad too. Okay, so back to our good friend AI, or I would say AI is more of a situationship.
Okay, no, I can see where you're coming from.
You see what I mean? Okay, so AI is kind of like a toxic situationship in a way.
Yes, because you're sitting there and you see something on the internet, and I saw something the other day of Joe Biden and Donald Trump kissing, and I was like, that looks so real. And I was like, I know that's not real, but I get like those weird love edits, and I'm like, period, I ship it, like enemies to lovers.
Oh,
like
man.
they give enemies to lovers energy.
Oh,
But
no.
but I obviously know that's not real. But it's like that's
Use discernment and critical thinking. That's important, kids. Critical thinking is important.
half the things you see on the internet. No, you cannot trust these days.
Right.
Let's be real.
Right. There's so much AI stuff out there. I think for me as an artist, and then as a photographer who does editing, obviously like in Photoshop there are some AI elements, such as like the generative expand tool, where you can like expand a background, or if you can like select and replace like tiny little blemishes and stuff like that. I think for editing, like small AI tools can be beneficial, but I don't think in any way it should ever replace the work that artists do.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I also feel sad because I also know there's so many editing tools nowadays
Yeah.
when it comes to pictures that you take. And no one should ever be, editing themselves. Everyone's beautiful the way that they're created and made. And, we should not be trying to live up to this impossible standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always going to have a tad bit of a pooch on my stomach, especially after I eat hibachi. And you know what? That's okay. Like, we just need to, live our lives and
Yeah.
not try to live up to an impossible standard, especially physically, It's
Definitely,
all
yeah.
about who you are in the inside. And, living up to those standards, just, it's not, we shouldn't be doing that,
Yeah.
in my personal opinion.
So do you think like any AI editing tools at all, do you think like they should all be like just gone?
Yes. However, I think in certain situations it can be kind of useful, because when it comes to something important, not even, I mean, not, this isn't like with pictures. I think with pictures necessarily it should all be gone. However, when it comes to looking up something that you don't know,
Mhm.
like if I'm sitting here and I'm new to society and I don't know how to do my laundry. I do know how to do my laundry. My mom taught me to do my laundry, luckily. But you never know. That's where it comes in handy. I can look up how to do my laundry, or sit there and look up anything, honestly. So that part's kind of important. However, there's just a downside to everything. There's like a balance with everything that goes on. There's a balance
Of
to
course.
me. Sometimes you're like, she's fun to be around, and sometimes you're like, she's really fucking annoying.
Hey, I think you're a very fun person to be around.
But there's
are
a
so
balance.
fun.
There's a balance to everything, and
yeah.
there's a balance to everyone. It just depends on the day, and it depends on the person. When I have a bad day, I'm
Mhm.
so much less fun to be around than when I'm having a good day. And I make my mistakes. Everyone makes their mistakes. There's a balance to everything, and I think finding the balance in pictures, especially with photography, is beautiful. So when it comes to AI, I just don't. Me personally, I don't enjoy the perfectionism image that it can produce.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also really funny aspects to it on TikTok, like the Joe Biden and Donald Trump ship
Oh,
edit that I
man.
saw. I was in tears laughing on the ground. I was like, did we just solve world peace?
Or like, okay, do you remember in October when there was that wizard cat meme going around? It's like this chubby orange cat in a wizard hat, and he's got his little magic wand, and he's frolicking through a forest.
Yes.
I love that wizard cat. Me and my mom, we send each other wizard cat all the time.
No,
And I mean, that's AI. That makes me laugh.
I saw like an AI edit of like a dog rapping like a Snoop Dogg song the other day, and I was like, period. He's
Yeah.
he's popping off. Off topic, but I do think within the next couple of years, something massive is gonna happen. Like animals are gonna start speaking English or like different languages, or aliens are gonna take over the world, or what else could happen? So much.
All the things.
All the things. I swear on my life, and you can quote me on that too.
Yeah, I definitely
Maybe
feel
you just need a mental hospital. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. My next question for you is, are there any photographers, past or present, who have had a significant influence on your style or perspective?
Yes, actually, I have a picture of me with one of my favorite photographers. I will show you. So she is a photography influencer on. I found her on Instagram initially, but she's on TikTok as well. Her name is Sophia Chu, also known as Shots by Sophia, and
I like that name. Sorry,
she's very cool. She's extremely cool, and she's like younger than me too. She's like 2 or 3 years younger, but she is a film and media production student in California. Like her stuff is absolutely beautiful. If you get a chance, like please look at Shots by Sophia on Instagram. She just has an excellent way of conveying narratives and storytelling with her work. A lot of her stuff is very fantasy inspired, and that's what I love.
Yes.
But yeah,
I love that.
I know I love fantasy too.
Oh my
And
goodness!
just, like,
Don't even
telling
get me
stories.
started. Don't even get me started on fantasy books.
Girl, oh, I'm such a fangirl.
Like, give me more vampires
Yeah.
and wizards and
Shadow daddies.
give me all the crazy stuff.
Do you want to see the picture of me and Sophia?
Yes, let me see it.
her.
Queens. I think you guys ate down, devoured.
I didn't even know her. I ran into her in Los Angeles. My family and I were doing a trip over spring break, and we ran into her, and I recognized her, and I was like,
You're like, oh my god.
I need a picture, and she was so sweet. I didn't want to like be that weird person who's like, I need a picture.
Oh my god,
with
this
you.
is really off topic, but I was in Australia, and I swear on my life, I thought I saw Tana Mojo.
really.
And I was like, and now that I think about it, I really don't think it was her. I just think that my brain was like, well, I was sitting there, I swear, I was walking to my radio station,
Mhm.
and I did like a double take, and I was like, wait, is that Tana Mojo? And I was like, Tana? I was like, Tana? But, you always think you're going to see a celebrity in public. I don't actually think it was her. I think it was her lookalike. But, yeah, I did think I saw Tana Mojo. That was just really off topic, but yeah.
Well, here's a really funny thing that my dad does with his friends. So he and his buddies have this running joke that anytime they're on vacation, they'll look for people that are celebrity lookalikes, and then they'll get pictures of them like secretly from like behind a bush or under a table, and then they'll send it on their group chat, and it's hilarious, and they like get points for it.
Stop.
So that's a funny game that my dad and
Oh
his
my
friends
goodness.
play.
We need to bring back playing random games within society. Because,
Honestly, let's bring that back.
no, literally, have you seen the movie Tag?
I have not.
It's so funny. It's like
Yeah.
these group of like old men who have been friends since they were like children, and they've had this lifelong game of tag going on, and it goes on throughout the entire month of May. And they literally just play tag with each other.
Mhm.
So someone's it, and like they'll be like at work and stuff, and their friends will like randomly show up and be like, "Tag, you're it." And I want to like bring that back, but bring it back with the cheese touch because that would be really fun.
I like that.
So if anyone is interested and goes to High Point University, can we please get a monthly game with the cheese touch going?
Cheese touch, let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back. Let's get the whole school involved. I think that'd be really fun.
I'm down. I'm so down.
I
You tell
think
me
it would be
when and
so
where, I'll be
fun.
there.
Yeah, period. We are coming to the end of our episode today, so we are gonna do our little closeout scene. But I hope that you guys stay tuned for the next episode. There's gonna be 2 dropping this week. 2 episodes Sunday at 7 p.m. There will be another live stream for the next episode when I do film that. I am filming it Thursday. I cannot remember the time right now, but I will make a post about it. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, Merran, what is your social media so that
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Merran_E. And then my camera Instagram is Merrans_camera.
yeah, and my personal Instagram is Kate J Ryan with 2 N's. My last name is spelled with 1 N, but that just wasn't open. And my podcast Instagram is Scoops Latest. My YouTube is also Scoops Latest. And fun fact, my middle name is Jane. And yeah, stay
Jane
tuned.
is a very pretty middle name.
Thank you. What's
love
your
it.
middle name?
It's Elizabeth.
Slay.
Yeah.
Drop your middle names in the comments because now I'm really curious
Let me
about
know.
what people's middle
I
names are.
love middle names. They're so cool.
Okay, have a nice day.
Bye.